Smith.
Yeah, they are, and you know, some technical parts coming up, as we've already heard from Bernie, about 8 kilometres ago, which is in 3 kilometres time, maybe a little bit more for the peloton. It gets a little tricky, so a lot of teams are starting to move up their GC rider as well, so it could be a little bit dangerous over those kilometres, and I think this is why we're getting all the teams trying to move up now.
And we've got the Maglia Rosa in play as well. He's moving up on the left-hand side, Joao Almeida with the Koenig Quickstep, who would also quite like to give Alvaro Hodge an opportunity in the sprint. Just over a minute with 10 kilometres to go. Sander Armey versus the world in Rimini. Ineos Grenadiers with Swift at the back of their line. Just behind them you have Sagan and Bora Hansgrohe. Sagan today is being looked after by Maciej Bodnar, who's just in front of him. They're the two riders in the green, white and black for Bora Hansgrohe in the centre of your picture. Behind, we've been told by Israel Startup Nation that today they will ride for the German Rick Zabel in the sprint. And here come Lotto Soudal, hopefully, for them trying to disrupt the chase, I think. A couple of riders moving up on the right.
Just looking at the flag at the right-hand side there, it did look as if starting to get a bit of a headwind, but this run in towards Rimini in the finish is not suited to a single rider out the front. He's just kind of dangling out front on these kind of long straight roads, nowhere to hide, no shelter. It's going to be very difficult for him to pull this one off.
And look at the pace here. They've had an easy day so far in the peloton, and they're using all of that energy that's been saved to really race the finale.
So this is, in fact, because of the kind of pinch points at 8 kilometres ago now, this is actually helping the sprinters teams out. It was UAE and Groupama. Now they've kind of been washed away a little bit. You know, they'll be happy that the time gap's coming down, but yeah, they'll after this stage they'll want to try and gain some sort of control. But as we said, Rob, there's no teams with big numbers that are able to control this sprint, and it could get quite messy. But for the moment, UAE are holding back, and they're holding back Biel. That's the rider right in the middle, because he will be required in this final.
So Groupama and UAE both taking this opportunity to reorganise, get their sprint trains ready, because it's the general classification teams who seem to have taken this up, as well as Ineos Grenadiers on the left-hand side, although they do have Tailgate and Hart, don't they? But lots of moments like this, splits in the road, that they're going to be looking for different positions. They're on their way to Rimini, holiday capital of the east coast of Italy. But it's hard work at the moment for Sander Armey, just over half a minute, and his gap is evaporating at the minute. 32 seconds. He's given his all, and he's showed he's got some strong legs. Now here's where they chose different parts of the road. Not always as wide, as Brian's just been explaining. Not always so much choice in the final 8 kilometres. 9 Ks to go there. They're around 400 metres behind him. And here he is, about to turn into a more technical part. And we're just seeing why this fight's happening. We've got turns like that, Brian.
Yeah, we heard it from Bernie Eisel. Very important. About 8 kilometres ago, it gets very technical, and that's the reason why we've got the fight for that point. You don't want to be stuck behind a crash and you know, lose out in the Giro d'Italia just because you haven't moved up. And now we see that Puccio's moved Tailgate and Hart right up towards the front.
That was Rowan Dennis, who just peeled off after doing his turn for the Ineos Grenadiers. Dennis being at the front there as well might explain why that gap is coming down so quickly now. It's evaporated into hardly a chance now for Sander Armey. 17 seconds, still giving everything, but if he knows anything about the time gap, he will know that it's almost over. Another very, ooh, look at the state of this. Nervous moments for the peloton and the Giro d'Italia. 8 kilometres to go for them. They're just 14 seconds now behind Armey, who's surviving but not very well now. Ouch. That could have ended in tears. And there's quite a bit of this coming as we return to Rimini. So just as it was often in the 50s, It's going to be a sprint, we think, in Rimini here in 2020. 1960 the last time we were here. Baffy the winner then. Who's it going to be now? We've seen the first few pinch points, we've seen the first few obstacles. The peloton keeping safe and away from them for the moment, but this is going to be really nervous, not just for the sprinters, but also for the GC men. Look at all the indication that's going on here. Look at all the fight for the finish, and now UAE have returned to the front to take it up, Brian.
Yeah, I think we're over the kind of danger, the pinch points there, and you know, that's why UAE have now come to the front. They want to take it on from the front. Just looking a little bit further back, Groupama have been kind of pushed down a little bit, but for the GC riders, I think they have to stay near the front, but they don't have to ride on the front. It's all this kind of road furniture. The pinch points here, that's why it's important. But UAE are deciding that they want to keep it as fast as possible, and this is going to suit everybody now.
Sagan being moved up by Bodnar right onto the wheel of Fernando Gaviria, but Groupama, FDJ are way down the bunch. They said they wanted to take it up first, and they're going to have to move up pretty soon themselves. Pink jersey being kept safe on the right-hand side as we looked at it, and Sander Arme, after a big battle for most of the stage, is not going to get a victorious reward. He's going to be caught with 6 kilometres to go. Hat off to the Flemish rider. It's been quite an effort, quite a ride, but today is not going to be a breakaway day. Rimini awaits, and there are just over 6 kilometres to go, with UAE Emirates taking it over and trying to pick up a win for the first time with Fernando Gaviria at this particular Giro. And here come Groupama on the right as we look at it, Brian. Arnaud Demar being moved up as much as he can, but it's not an easy task with the road furniture here.
No, it's not easy to move up on mass, and they've been kind of pushed down a little bit. There's no real panic, still just over 6 kilometres to go, but this is the plan of UAE. They want to take it on from the front. Good to see Viviani has been looked after by Consoni in the red just on the left hand side, but UAE have numbers. They said that right from the start, they have to have numbers. Quite technical the whole way in, but it looks as if the Ciclamino jersey of Demar is in about 30th place, and they'll slowly move up, but you have to consider that it's going to take some energy to be able to move up, because Lucy is trying to you know, stretch this peloton out. Quite a decent length of straight right now until we get to a very sharp left-hand turn that will approach the riders. Comes with just less than 5, around 4.6 k's to go, we think. And after that, another few chicanes. The most technical part is between 4 kilometres and 2 kilometres to go. Yeah, you've got a big 90-degree left-hander coming up very soon, and then it takes you straight to 4 kilometres, but it's the 4 kilometres, as you say, to 2.5 to go. That's where the danger lies.
Here's the Israel Startup Nation. They told us today that they would ride for Rick Zabel. We wonder if that is still the plan. Of course, they have Chimolai in their ranks as well, but their main sprinter Valbier has gone home, but they're taking it on. 4.5 k's to go. There was that left-hander. Arnaud Demar alongside Ben Swift there.
He's just been patient. Champions. Just been patient at the moment. You've got 2 big motors of Dowsett and Brendley at the front now, and this is helping out UAE. UAE are sitting nicely just there, just waiting, and now come NTT. I think everybody knows that we're starting to get to a difficult point on running towards the finish now.
And here is where that technical funhouse starts. It's left onto this roundabout, left again, followed very quickly by a 90-degree to the right that comes up now. And here is Dowsett approaching it, stage winner the other day. Now here comes the right turn. They're in the right place at the right time here, Israel Startup Nation. If Dowsett and Brendley have the legs to carry them through this, they'll be in a wonderful position for the last kilometre or two.
Yeah, they came up at the right time. Zabel is sitting 4th wheel. You can also see that the Ciclamino jersey of Demar has also moved up. He's just sitting inside the top 20 now with 3 teammates in front of him now.
Sagan still sitting on the wheel of the UAE Emirates train. He's been dropped off and is ready to go, looking for 2 out of 2. Another big shift to the right is coming up. Off they go back onto the sea. Port in the distance. It's on the beach we finish. This is that big right turn, the sharpest of the lot. Big wheel in the background. It's Brenly who's taken over for Israel Startup Nation. UAE on their wheel. Remember, Gaviria, no win in Grand Tours this year. 3 kilometers to go. That'll be a welcome sight for all of those GC contenders. If there are any accidents or incidents, everybody now gets the same time. Groupama FDJ still waiting and waiting. And the Koenig Quickstep now switch to thinking about the stage win as well. They start to move up too. Now Biel picks up. He was the man who they wanted to pick it up for the next technical section around this roundabout here. But straight after it, you've got a very sharp right and another sharp left. Both 90-degree turns still. And it's Biel who comes up to take it. Behind him is Molano. Here's the first right. 90-degree taken on well. Lots of changes of speed, lots of efforts, lots of accelerations. Biel possibly the perfect man here for UAE.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do now, and he's up to tempo as well, which is good. He needs to do a big turn now. This is a big, long straight. In fact, this goes all the way to about 600 metres to go. Then they've got two left-handers. 500 metres to go is the final corner. But this is where Biel comes into his own. We said it a little bit earlier. He has to do over a kilometre now at the front.
And look at Groupama FDJ choosing this moment on this long straight to move up. They've waited and waited through the technical, and they've really fought it out. Biel is done for the day, though. Oh, and how things change. Groupama FDJ have bullied their way to the front. You can see that Richies is trying to get involved as well. Oldani is up there, the young sprinter for Lotto Soudal. And this is a real opportunity here. Konovolovas is putting down the pace.
Milano's just coming up in the left-hand side, so we're seeing a bit more of a battle now. Messi sprint coming up, Viviani still in the mix, but this is a battle between two of the major sprint teams, UAE and Groupama, with Bodnar getting involved.
Molano, a good sprinter in his own right from Colombia, is at the front here. He has Richiesi with him. Gaviria, in the meantime, you can see is choosing to sit down on the wheel of Arnaud Demar, as Richiesi is going to be the next man to take it up, coming under the Fiamma Rossa, the 1 kilometre to go banner. Now it's Groupama who return, and it's their number 106, who's Miles Scottson, the Australian former national champion. As we saw from Bernie Eisel, there's a big turn coming up, 600 metres to go, where you get two successive 90 degrees into the left, and then you can go early here. Do not forget that it's a tailwind to the finish. There's left turn number 1 taken by Scottson. All of the major players in here. Left turn number 2, 500 metres to go, and they come into the final straight, and it's going to be interesting to see who launches first. Look out for Demar sitting in that purple jersey in third. On his wheel in the white, you can see it's Fernando Gaviria. Then Sagan looking for 2 out of 2. He's in the black and green. Hodges following him, the young Colombian as well, and Zabel is struggling to make up places. Then you have Elia Viviani. Oldani's in, and it's Groupama, and here goes Gaviria. He's decided to launch it early. Gaviria on the left as we look at it, but Demar's looking strong. Demar's going again all the way to the line. It's 4 up for Arnaud Demar, and nobody can get near him. They left it late. They let the others do the work, and Groupama FDJ have done it once again. Arnaud Demar is unbeatable at this Giro d'Italia. Oh, that was enthralling stuff towards the end, Brian. And Arnaud Demar has finished the job wonderfully.
Another perfect sprint from Demar. You can just see him laying off Garnieri. And he used that. I think he waited till Sagan went, launched his sprint, and, there was only going to be one winner. Gaviria again had to sit down, just didn't have the legs, and they tried to take it on from the front, easier said than done, but these riders battled through. They were out of position, they brought him up, they still had Scottson and Garnieri in front of him coming round that final corner. Garnieri was perfect there. We're going to see it here. Garnieri, just see that he lets the wheel go and he wants to rush into it. Gaviria's on the wheel. And it's just as Gaviria opens up, Sagan decides to go right, not left. But that time, he's got a clear run to the finish. Demar, only going to be one winner. Hodge on the right-hand side. Viviani, or is it? No, it's Consoni. It's up there on the left-hand side, Zabel. But, yeah, another excellent sprint there from Demar to win his 4th.
Consonni looking around there for Elia Viviani, who must have lost on the way in.
Watch Gaviria here. He just opens up his sprints, sits down, doesn't have it. Just does not have it in this year's Giro.
He was the first to go, wasn't he? And you can see Guarnieri celebrating behind. Pink jersey comes across. Sagan desperately trying to chase again, showing he has good form. That was Hodge through the middle, who never really got involved as he would have wished. And Arnaud Démare, yet again the winner. It's his best ever performance in a Grand Tour. 4 stage wins from the man from Picardy. And Arnaud Démare is off to the podium once again. He's a stage winner, and he's just extended his lead by quite a bit in the points classification. 18 months ago, he'd never won a stage of the Giro d'Italia. He now has 5. And you can see him winning more.
Possibly tomorrow. No, I think it'll be too difficult for him tomorrow. But definitely in stage 13, with a couple of climbs just towards the end. But on fire, the strongest sprinter. Still had a lot to do, but you can see the battle into the kind of dog leg at the bottom there. That's UAE tried, and I said that Biel needed to go for about a kilometre. He just didn't have it. He just couldn't hold the front. If Gaviria had even the lead out and rode from the front, he was still not going to beat this man here.
What a job they all did. And we know they're operating on more limited resources now with 2 riders left. Fonchini chased all day, didn't he, in the breakaway? They didn't panic. They added another man when it was necessary. And they even had a chance to regroup, didn't they, before that technical section, letting the others do the hard work. And as soon as they returned to the front, you knew they meant business, didn't you? Fighting for those wheels inside the last 2 kilometres, almost bullying UAE out of the way. They were so strong. And this man, what confidence to finish it off. And he's the first man in a couple of years, actually, to win as many stages as this. Viviani winning 4 in 2018, Gaviria winning 4 3 years ago. In 2020, it's Arnaud Démare, who is the king of the sprints at the Giro d'Italia. And he's on track for his best season ever, despite the fact that we've lost so many races in this bizarre 2020. Imperious Arnaud Démare. Must be a great place to be their team boss and their hotel at the moment. Even if it goes downhill from here for the rest of the Giro. They've done so much already. Let's have a look at that last kilometre again. Remember here, we've still got the turn left a couple of times. This is Miles Scottson on the front, the former Australian champion. We talked about how versatile their lead-out's been. He has Guarnieri on his wheel, who is the Italian former sprinter himself. There's that second turn. They almost took it as a wide 180 there without really killing off any speed. And Scottson managed to carry them a fair way, actually, into the straight as well, Brian.
He did, and then Guarnieri took it up, but it's the just the instinct of Démare. He just lets the wheel go a little bit, just gives him something to rush into. Gaviria is just about to go here. Sagan had to make one choice, then another choice. No way through for him, but I think he wasn't going to get past, or nobody was going to get past Démare at that stage. I think as soon as they came into that final with Scottson and Guarnieri in front, there's only going to be one winner.